How did they manage to stretch just 4 logos across 1 minute and 2 seconds? When I masturbate, I'm done in 30 seconds tops, cuddling included, in case you confused it with Run DMZ.
Hustle up, guys. You've got to get that defector and get the hell out of there. No delays.
I mean, we had planned on hitting a few museums, grabbing a coffee, catching a movie. Thank God you were here to keep us on mission. Hey, you know what's cheap, cuts through metal, and doesn't light you up like a Christmas tree? F***ing wire cutters, that's what. And I guarantee you, these palm warmers will never show up again in this movie. Also, I'm sure nobody guarding the base will see these bright flashes of light over by the fence. As long as the Joe team is quiet, this will go unnoticed.
Anyone ever tell you fight ugly?
Not from their backs, they don't.
What the f*** does that even mean?
Since the end of the Nanomite Wars.
The Nanomite Wars? When was there ever one war? In the first movie, the Joe team sniffed out Doctor Who's plan and knocked out all his missiles before there even was a war. The only thing that got destroyed was Paris, and absolutely no one who wasn't French cared about that.
Under Duke's command, a roadblock.
Nair's position with virtual reality visual aids.
The ruthless terrorist known as Cobra Commander. And Destro.
Wait, the government just decided to call this guy Destro, even though he's the former head of that weapons company? Wasn't his name McCullen? Why did they go with the name that the Cobra Commander gave him just before the end of the last movie? It's not like he did anything notable once he became Destro. He was named that, and then he went to prison almost immediately.
Retaliation.
Roll Cobras.
Not the first time you seen a girl running out of the room screaming.
Not the first time I've sent 2 girls screaming from a room.
Dude, completely inappropriate.
Everything about this conversation is completely inappropriate, Roadblock. Everything.
We have its location narrowed down to somewhere in this missile assembly building.
Wait, you mean the missile they need to track down is in the missile assembly building? Huh, that's weird.
Anyone else missing Snake Eyes?
Yeah, I'll be missing Snake Eyes. I'll probably watch Hotel Transylvania 4 or Old instead, but most likely I'll be on my 7th viewing of Space Jam 2.
I trained with Snake for 6 years. If he ain't here, he's got good reason.
Oh, is that how the secret elite G.I. Joe military force works? Some asshole thinks he's better than everyone else, so he doesn't have to go with the crew on their most important mission? Seems legit. I mean, what if he's sick or dead? You're not gonna check up on that?
Equipment check!
Check!
Check! Check! Check! Check! Check! Check! Check!
Check.
This cock's on for some time. In the immortal words of Vic Deakins, would you mind not shooting at the thermonuclear weapon? What is the difference between this mission and the opening mission in North Korea? I ask this because in North Korea, the Joes were stealthy, covert, and went to great lengths to preserve life, even at the expense of this lovely teacup. Here, however, they've gone 100% murder hobo Joes and are capping fools with extreme prejudice. What gives? Evidently, the Joes have started recruiting Jedi Knights. I see no other possible explanation for how this chap manages to slide into first base and immediately knows to shoot this guy behind him without an excessive infusion of midichlorians being involved. How the f*** does this bullet know that the target it's scanning is hostile? Does it have a database of every asshole on Earth? Also, I think this is the only time they use the remote control bullet in the whole movie. Seems like it would be a lot more useful than that. Like, I don't know, maybe they could even have killed everybody before they even started looking for the nuclear bomb. Also, even at a quarter speed, this bullet would still be traveling like 400 miles an hour. So I'm calling bullshit that Mouse is capable of reacting fast enough to remotely direct this bullet to its target. On top of that, this bullet appears to be capable of identifying and locking on 2 targets. So I see no need for this weapon to be in the hands of an expert marksman.
Long-range transportation, wheels down to 1900 hours.
Home in time for Top Shot.
They should have called this movie If CinemaSins Ran Military Ops.
Good job, Tiny Tim.
All that Wii combat shooter finally paying off.
Wii Combat Shooter? The movie was happy to show Roadblock and Duke playing Call of Duty earlier, so why this generic title now? Okay, maybe Hasbro doesn't want to give Activision any more explicit advertising space. Fine, then why not just insert one of your own games, Hasbro? Something equally bloody that also carries a high body count, like Monopoly.
I don't know if I'm gonna trust a pastry from a gumbo chef.
You don't need to trust a pastry at all if you're going to shoot it with an automatic rifle. Also, Duke is a dick to gumbo chefs. The last time I was in New Orleans, I offered to make 3 different chefs the godparents to my firstborn child.
That's on the rise. Like your panties.
You love my panties.
That's an interesting choice of a joke.
Screenwriter discussion about that joke makes it into the script. Oh, I feel like we need to call this something. Like 2 Jonathans for half the price, or 2 for the price of 1, or Dave 2. I'll workshop it.
G.I. Joes are about to be out of the picture. And by out of the picture, I mean alive on Earth.
What the hell does that mean? Sounds like he's going to just leave them alone. Unless he just revealed that this is all taking place on a distant planet. I would take away all the sins from this movie and Rise of Cobra if it turned out they were aliens the entire time.
My new Secret Service, they want to burn the Constitution. Literally.
Wait, please tell me that's not me. That is the Cobra symbol. Why would Jonathan Twice here pin the symbol of his evil organization on the men who are meant to be undercover as the President's Secret Service? I know Cobra isn't common knowledge, but surely someone is going to spot that. Damn it, no one's going to spot that, are they?
Why does anyone want to be president? Everybody wants to rule the world.
I can't stand this crappy movie. Every line is f***ing cheesy. Everybody wants to rule the world.
Prepare for extraction.
Extraction? What are we, teeth?
Jesus Christ, did Roblox kids write this f***ing script? Extraction is a common military phrase. Why does every single line in this movie need a bullshit attempt at a witty retort that goes nowhere? See, now what would be interesting is if Jay, with her remote-controlled bullets, could shoot them at the helicopters and either A, kill the bad guys, or B, the bullets don't read these guys as hostile because they are American troops firing on them. But we never see her shoot them because that would be way too awesome. Oh, they actually killed Channing Tatum in this movie. Now nobody except Jonathan Pryce is left from The Rise of Cobra. It's almost like The Rock wrote this script and imagined everyone from the first movie was Vin Diesel. Are you telling me no Cobra personnel can see the remaining Joes jumping into this big-ass well? Well, the bad guys were fooled by the I don't see anybody's head popping out of the water trick. I guess it's time to go home and forget about throwing a grenade or two down the well just to be safe. And yeah, this guy shoots bullets down into the water, but picks the tiniest bit of surface area to shoot at and comes up empty.
First domino fell with the murder of the Pakistani president. On my orders, a covert special forces unit, codenamed Cobra, terminated with extreme prejudice Joe Command.
So let me get this straight. The G.I. Joes allegedly stole a nuke and assassinated the Pakistani president, and in response to this, the president sends in a strike team to execute every last one of the Joes? Shouldn't they have been, put on trial? To make it worse, he then holds a f***ing press conference announcing this blatant disregard for due process, and that a branch of the U.S. military assassinated a world leader. So they captured Snake Eyes, but they didn't feel the need to remove his helmet or his uniform? And we find out later it's not Snake Eyes, but that doesn't mean you leave his entire costume on when you're taking him to jail.
So deep, in fact, that you just crossed out of Germany into international territory.
What? Is this mine shaft at a 45-degree angle? Germany definitely owns the land under Germany.
Temperatures here exceed 210 degrees when not artificially cooled to a crisp 68.
Unnecessary exposition. Unnecessposition?
It's so interesting. This is where science has come.
To die? Surprise, surprise, it's not Snake Eyes, but Storm Shadow. You know what might have nipped this confusion in the bud early on? Taking his goddamn mask off before taking him to a German prison. Although, turns out Walton Goggins is okay with having Storm Shadow here, so it all works out. I'm confused. Does Storm Shadow have his own security monitor inside his water chamber? Even if it's on the outside somewhere, why does he get to look at security screens? What the f*** is this? And this is important for him to see, since he's got a buddy outside who's about to help him with the prison break. And he needs to time everything just right. Where the f*** did this guy get throwing stars? I guess he could have hidden these up his butt, but that makes me wonder why he didn't go through the bend over and cough routine when he got here. While these motorcycle bullets and missiles are exciting and get the job done, why couldn't his robot fireflies have busted down these gates and barricades before he got here? They did a great job of blowing stuff up earlier. So wait, did the fire not engulf Storm Shadow? Was he on the other side of it? Can the movie just show us that he's on the other side of the fire rather than making us guess? And this asshole gets engulfed in flames later anyway, so what a bunch of pointless bull this is.
Soon the world will cower in the face of Zeus.
If you're Cobra, why would you brand anything without it being snake-related? Why a sudden jump to Greek gods? Why not call this ship the Viper or the Copperhead or even the Garden Snake before you call it f***ing Zeus?
You know, they call it a waterboard, but I never get bored.
I'm really upset that The Rock isn't here to point out what a stupid joke this is.
Just one wrinkle. 3 Joes somehow survived our little house cleaning. Drone picked up voice prints in the Indus Valley.
If the drone can make out the voices of the surviving Joes, surely it can use that to pinpoint their location. Yet, despite this knowledge, you aren't immediately sending someone to kill them because reasons? Man, plot armor is the best. In case you confused it with Tokyo, Mexico.
First, the massacre in the desert. And now Storm Shadow and Cobra Commander escape prison. So your training is more important than ever. Jake's cousin to Storm Shadow.
Thank you for waiting. The expositional sensei will see you now. What is the good goddamn point of bringing back Ray Park if you are still going to mask his outstanding fighting skills with a million cuts and hyper editing? This is like getting a brand new guitar and only ever playing Smoke on the Water.
The longer we wait, the stronger Storm Shadow becomes.
Why don't you just go find him now, rather than cramming for some last-minute training? Do you think this extra week or so of fight training is going to make a difference? What? This shaman lady has a tissue regeneration machine? And what the was the point of all this bullshit she was doing to Storm Shadow's back? This movie, man.
With this sword, you must capture.
What does the type of sword matter when you're capturing a person? Will it not count if you use a sword other than this? These assholes are walking down a public street in the United States and Cobra couldn't find them? Are you kidding me? How the did they get here from Pakistan anyway? Did they walk?
Thank you, Stu.
Introducing a black character named Stoop for the sole purpose of establishing Roblox's street cred.
I'll cyberblast an encoded beacon every 6 hours.
This movie from 2013 still thinks it can get away with throwing cyber in front of a random verb to create passable technobabble. Jay also manages to name drop a video game some believe to be a ripoff of Gauntlet, and by some I mean me, so take that.
Then when the Joes came recruiting to the hood, I already beaten down half of it.
The Joes were recruiting in the hood back in Roadblock's early years, but somehow didn't know about Channing Tatum and Marlon Wayans in the last movie, even though they were elite soldiers.
Hey, I got something you want to see.
You better come take a look at this cliche.
Between August 9th and August 19th, he stopped using you know and kind of and started using I mean and sort of. See his fingers clasped? Left thumb on top versus right thumb on top.
How long has Lady J been out here? She would have had to watch hours of footage multiple times to pick up the very subtle discrepancies that she's describing here. Aren't they on a clock? Also, what kind of sad individual would take a video, watch it over and over and over again just so they can nitpick every little inconsistency and...
But that's not all. Supper became dinner, soda became pop.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! He started saying pop instead of soda and nobody noticed that. I guarantee you many people would have started asking why the president suddenly changed his protocol.
We have to assume that there's no one we can trust.
There is one man. He's the reason we call ourselves Joes.
I was beginning to give up hope on this movie, but that all could change if we get to see President Biden kicking some Cobra ass. I don't know who this guy is, but hot damn does he like hats. I get the sense that this is how Bruce Willis greets anyone when they hand his agent a script and say, this movie might require more effort than usual.
Shut your mouth, Brenda.
My name's not Brenda.
How'd you get in?
Listen here, Willis. Either you're asking how Lady J got into the Joes or how she got into your house. Option 1 makes you a sexist chuckle. And since you're the one that left the front door open, option 2 makes you a moronic chuckle. Which will it be?
Then you know why I'm here.
The reason I'm here requires me to dump out all these dog tags on your living room table. More hats?
Tell me one thing you know about him.
Great soldier.
Well, no duh. He's a G.I. Joe.
Better friend.
That's 2 things. We were told about this guy being terrible at poker and how he had 1,000 tells, but apparently none of that matters, because his biggest weakness is being attracted to beautiful women. Yes, they needed to know he was playing poker at a certain time so they could kidnap him, but don't tell us about this guy's poker skills and then not make it a part of the story.
Why are you doing this?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Who cares? You said he was going to forget everything in 5 minutes anyway. Snake Eyes already beat Storm Shadow in the previous movie, and Storm Shadow's been injured for the last few weeks. And Snake Eyes has been training hard with RZA this whole time. And somehow this is still a close fight. Ninjas, parkour, impossible to follow action, enjoyment? Shaman Lady's biggest advantage here is that Jinx is not expecting a little old woman to be a threat. So why, instead of throwing this barely lethal dagger, didn't she sneak up behind Jinx and take her out? And how did she miss? Remember back when we were told that Snake Eyes would need to use his special sword to get Storm Shadow back to RZA? Yeah, what he really needed was knockout gas. Snake Eyes throws Storm Shadow off this mountain, and he must be dead. But somehow this throw translates into Storm Shadow being on the zip line later, and the movie never explains how. No one will be seated during the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Impossible Mid-Air Combat portion of the movie. The only reason they're here is because Cobra Commander thinks the only place you can get back surgery is in the mountains. This entire action set piece is shoehorned into this movie, and no amount of badassery will allow me to forgive it. There's that crazy Snake Eyes getting in on the latest internet craze, avalanching. Once again, we have one of these scenes where someone tries to get inside a place and the gatekeeper doesn't have their credentials on file. In most movies, there's some computer hacker trying to enter the credentials at the last minute. In this case, though, the name is already on the list. This movie just makes it seem like there's trouble when there's not. Man, this guy's got a real hard-on for this Amy Vandervoort, and not in a sexual way, if you catch my drift.
Jay now.
It's pretty clear that Jay is not dancing with the president anymore, and there's no way she's in actual danger, but the movie makes it seem that way, just in case you've never seen a movie before. Is it normal for an entire street leading up to the president's limousine to be entirely unsecured, where some dickface can just point a gun at the building entrance and the car? And if you're just poking your head around a building, wouldn't a Secret Service person be able to see that? Good thing for Roadblock, these Firefly bomb things love to chase and piss off their targets first before blowing up, or else he'd be dead for sure. Phew. Firefly survives this and was able to ride away? This movie. In case you confused it with the last time you confused it.
Your sword. given to you by our beloved Hard Master.
Beloved Hard Master was the name my college girlfriend gave my... No, she didn't.
Zartan.
So wait, Zartan killed Storm Shadow's master, then he framed Storm Shadow for the murder, and then he hoped Storm Shadow would run away and find him because Zartan knew Storm Shadow would be this badass warrior who would help him out one day? Everything about this new evidence seems totally half-assed. It leaves out 100 details that would make it more convincing. But we're in a brainless sequel of an action movie franchise, so I guess this reveal serves its purpose. Teeve peeping.
Spent the next 7 years trying to outrank him so he'd have to salute me. He died before I got the chance.
You know, if it's any sort of a consolation, I'm actually gonna miss the red. You look real nice.
Lady J has just shared how her father was a sexist asshole who died before she had a chance to prove to him that women do belong in the army. Then this dickhead thinks that calling her pretty is A, appropriate, and B, any sort of consolation to sorry your dad was a sexist jerk, J, but hey, at least your ass looks great in that dress. The biggest sin here is that from the look on her face, it works. This movie. 100 cents! Movie never explains what this food is. This turns out to be Snake Eyes and Jinx responding to the beacon that Jay put out there. But surely there's a way to inform the Joes you're coming without everyone getting ready to kill each other.
Damn ninjas.
That's ninjast.
Good to see you, brother.
Hasbro's. Was the 6 square feet of guns under the cooktop more important than the ability to make dinner? Colton seems to have spent his entire pension rendering his house completely useless and turning it into a thirst trap designed to give gun enthusiasts little murder boners. I will admit the kitchen isn't the first place I would search for a secret cache of guns. But after you open these cupboard doors, it would take exactly 0.64 seconds to work out that it goes a lot deeper than this extremely shallow shelf. Also, is this glued down? The stacking here is questionable at best, so I'm calling bullshit that Colton's cornucopia of condiments didn't come crashing down as soon as he swung this open. This isn't even hidden. What's the point of elaborate day-to-day life-inhibiting alterations to the kitchen if everything out here is basically in plain sight? This joke about Joe's house full of secret weapons in every nook and cranny of the house has officially gone on too long. Ah, yes, 1776, the year that Edward Gibbon published his seminal work, The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. However, I have no idea why that event in particular would be so significant to Colton. Weird. For this to work, that wall would have to be like 8 feet thick, unless there's another room on the other side of this wall. If that were the case, it would be much easier to have a hidden closet in the adjoining room, instead of an elaborate rail system that simulates an erection every time you need a grenade launcher.
What about you?
DOD says I can't come out of retirement.
Everyone who doesn't know the president is an imposter believes the Joes are fugitives, and most certainly would consider what they are about to do an assault on the government. In this case, I think his retirement status is the least of the DOD's concerns.
I, stay with me, ask you here with the goal of universal disarmament. Nuclear zero.
As long as it has the same taste as regular nuclear, I'll be just fine with that.
This country is at war with you and you and you and you and you and you.
The movie established earlier that, including the U.S., there are 8 nuclear-capable countries. And right here you can see the 7 leaders of these countries, but I only counted 6 U's. So who got a free pass?
The U.S. nuclear arsenal is capable of destroying each of your countries 14 times over. 15 in the case of North Korea, just to be sure.
Glad they included North Korea at this summit so Zartan can get his jabs in, but if they have a diplomatic relationship with the U.S., what was the purpose of the opening scene where the Joes snuck into North Korea to rescue a defector? Zartan plays Angry Birds while the other countries threaten to fire their weapons, but doesn't even boomerang that bird. I mean, throwing the boomerang bird like that is a strategy, but not when you want to rock the foundation of that pig fortress.
Ooh. High score.
I know you're being all nonchalant and that's great, but don't lie about your high score when you just threw 1 boomerang bird and didn't even boomerang it. You barely killed 1 pig with that weak sauce.
Let history record. Who was responsible for this madness?
History will record it, but American schools in many states won't teach it. Bras. French people, man. They can't even leave the sexy out of their nuclear football. Those horny. How would I translate it? It's bras. Can't get any simpler than that. How does a car just drive up this country road to a presidential retreat without getting flagged down well before it gets there? London. This is somewhere between Oxford and Swindon.
Now, to direct a rod to its target, we don't launch it, fire it.
We drop it.
Despite Zartan and the Cobra Commander's updated corporate jargon, this screen says fire at least once and launch 3 goddamn times. The Joes wait until after Britain is destroyed before they decide to intervene. This doesn't seem to mean anything until you realize that Colton's code to his weapons vault was 1776. This guy that the movie bills as UK leader looks awfully calm for someone who just saw the capital of their country explode.
Nothing matters now but the briefcase. Keep it out of Joe hands.
Why doesn't the Cobra Commander just take the briefcase himself? What exactly is the point of Lady J using a rifle with a silencer if John McClane over here is just going to start popping off with an unsilenced pistol? Good thing that agent was as bald as Bruce Willis. I say Bruce Willis and not Joe Colton because these agents don't know who's attacking them right now, so this fake out is for the sole purpose of fooling the audience. Nope.
We need eyes on Firefly and Cobra ASAP.
It's a really weird double feature, but okay, you're the boss.
Zeus satellites 2, 3, 5, and 6 are locked on target.
What happened to number 4? Wasn't that the one with the whales? That was my favorite. If you're gonna skip one, skip 5. We were told in the first movie that Snake Eyes was one of the most incredible marksmen in Joe history, but he can't seem to hit the Cobra Commander's whole body hanging out of this helicopter. What the f***, Firefly? Aren't these guys on your side? Was there any need to boot him into the water? With no prior knowledge to how this device works, Roadblock's soldierly omniscience allows him to correctly guess which button will not only stop the launch, but also blow up all of the satellites. Also, why would the launch override blow up the satellites? Surely it could just stop the missiles from launching. Firefly manages to survive more certain death situations than any other character, and that's saying a lot, but is eventually killed by his own stupidity. Why didn't he just throw the damn bug away when he realized he didn't have the detonator? Also, do these things even have detonators? How would that work? Earlier we saw them explode based on what looked like proximity. Wouldn't each one need its own trigger thingy?
With the world back in order, rebuilding has begun around the world.
Around the world? I'm pretty sure it was only London that was destroyed, and last I checked, the British Empire isn't what it once was, so you can hardly call it the world anymore. You're welcome, everyone. USA! USA! What was I saying?
I'm very proud of you.
Is that really the lesson you want us to take away, movie? That the key to happiness is validation from an old sexist white dude that didn't support you in your career choice? Not cool, guys. Not cool.
You know, we'd make a hell of a team.
You know, in the Expendables, maybe, or Fast and Furious. Not the G.I. Joe movies, though. They definitely won't be making another... Well, at least we won't be in it. I told you those palm warmers wouldn't show up again.
Ain't no way, Kevin. You got Snake Eyes.
Sinners, go vows to our newest domain of nitpick delights and behold commercial sins. Oh, and subscribe immediately. So the order goes click, sub. Simple as that. Oh, actually watch the video. Jesus, I guess I need to make a flowchart. Commercial sins! Go now.
Do you mind not shooting at the thermonuclear weapons?
No. Protocol died with the unit.
Suck my unit.
Gentlemen and ladies, hold the presses. This just in. By a curious quirk of fate, we have the perfect story with which to launch our satellite news network tonight.
Guns. Lots of guns.
Each satellite contains 10 hollow platinum tubes filled with a tungsten rod.
Oh, they were just about to show some close-ups of the rod.
No matter what, you got to strap.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in